everybody, and today we will be watching Never Drive at Night in the Desert, a creepypasta by Creepypasta. I am Superman, and Soup A-Man, and I am the only one doing this right now. But luckily for me, I have Winnie, my dog. Right, Winnie? Yeah? Come here. No? Okay. So, this is what I'll be reacting to. Maybe. Okay.
For her birthday, girl to Arizona so we could stay with some friends of hers and spend a few weeks partying and getting crazy and stuff before heading back to school for the year. We drove up in my dad's car. It's a really old Ford make, and it's pretty beat up. The road there was bumpy and long. Our relationship seemed at its strongest on the road. We were really in love. That was the first time I realized that. I'd never truly been in love before. We were about halfway there when we realized we were going to run out of gas long before the nearest petrol pump. Katie's head was out of the window.
And now we have Quinn.
Sunglasses on in the blistering heat outside.
I'm his little brother.
Nothing but the desert landscape to be seen in all directions. We became frantic. We hadn't seen another car on the road in almost an hour. What if we broke down here, in the middle of the desert, with no food or water, with no one out there to find us? I sped hopefully, driven by these fears. It was then that we came across a gas station, smack bang in the middle of nowhere, in dry, empty nowhere. It was an old, worn-down servo. Long, yellow grass blew in the breeze beneath it. Outside were two rusted gas pumps. At first, we didn't know if it was occupied. It seemed so lifeless. But as we pulled up and saw the petrol stains in the dirt, we were convinced otherwise. Katie started refilling the car, and I went inside to pay and grab something to eat on the road. When I first went to the
No, please, come on. That's great. Back. No. Sorry. Hopefully we can pause this. Welcome back.
Are you sure it's playing?
Yeah, you can see it.
This perturbed me, so I looked up at the sign to check, and was reassured that the store was open, according to the torn yellow sign hung between the dull yellow curtains of the door window. I pushed harder and harder with effort and got into the shop.
Okay.
Inside was totally abandoned and left to ruin. Complete aisles lay on the ground. The fridges were smashed and glass coated the floor.
That must be stupid.
Despite the brightness outside, the interior of the gas station was dark and bitterly cold. Then, there came, from behind me, this quiet weeping, like a child's.
Oh.
I felt my heart race.
Yeah,
It was coming from the back room.
Ugh.
I stepped over the smashed glass and twisted metal remnants on the floor, over where the patches of grass had grown through. I ran my hand along the wall and felt the crisscross of ivy beneath my fingers. It was overgrown. There came the crying again, and now I was facing the back room door.
Oh no.
It was directly in front of me. I pushed the door open, and it creaked with rust in its joints. Inside, there lay several wooden steps into the basement. It was pitch black, and the smell was horrific. The drip
I wish they showed like more of this stuff that's happening.
The water was up to my
Seeing
knees.
a road and somebody driving a car. Isn't that
in the far corner of the basement? Hello? I called
Well, if you pay attention to the story, then it is cool.
Anyone there? I started approaching the corner. The smell was horrible. The cold water eventually got to me. The sobbing was getting louder. In the corner, I swore I saw something move amongst the shadows. Hello? cold again. What's wrong? I finally reached the corner. Still dark. I had to bend down to avoid the pipes, which leaked down my back and trickled down my spine.
Okay. Ooh. Frozen.
Yeah, sometimes my Kindle does that.
Okay.
And our dog is down here too.
The figure in front of me was very small and black, hunched over, sobbing quietly, head in its hands.
That's horrifying.
Why are you down here? I whispered. Then it stopped moving completely. It
Oh,
was totally still.
I'd run.
All noise seemed to cease,
Run.
but for the quiet dripping
Just
of a broken
run.
pipe somewhere behind me.
No.
I outstretched my arm to touch its tiny shoulder, but it then began to slowly turn in my direction to look me eye
Did that
to
turn
eye.
for a second?
No.
Okay.
As its face swiveled around to look into mine,
Just watch.
I remember screaming and swinging my head up in recoil, cracking it on the pipes above.
Ow.
The face was white as a sheet,
Mm-hmm.
pale like a hideous, moving mask.
Well, that
The eyes
sucks.
and mouth were completely black holes,
Why does
huge
it?
and widening even as I looked at them. It
Okay.
was so huge they almost consumed the entire face. As I desperately tried to escape, it splashed towards me at a rapid speed,
Yeah,
curling
that's
its
scary.
long, thin fingers. It was wailing now, staring into me with its huge black eyes. As I scrambled up the stairs with great difficulty, I felt my legs begin to give way. I sprinted out of the water and up towards the stairs. I slammed the door, flipped the lock, and tore out of the store into the old Ford. Katie began to
Wow.
laugh when she saw me, jeans wet, trembling with sweat soaking my chest. But I grabbed her and screamed at her to drive. For about half an hour, I could barely tell her what happened in the store. She listened and gave me a look of sheer horror. When I
Yeah.
finally gave in and told her everything, she pulled the car to the side of the road and began to cry herself.
Why?
I asked her what was wrong. She said, I saw something while you were gone, when you were in the store. I was just pulling the pump back, and I saw this little girl and a man, the father, I guess. The father stared at me with a blank hanging jaw. But the girl, oh God, the girl, she was staring straight at me, grinning with this huge smile that just stretched so far across her face.
Oh.
I couldn't see any hair on her, and her skin was so dark. Not dark like a colored girl, but dark like a shadow. And a smile just shone through the window. I convinced myself it was just
So
a
wait.
trick of the eye and looked away. When I looked back, they were gone. Then a little while later came out. It was
That's
dusk by
scary.
now. We had nowhere to stay. We had not travelled nearly as much as we hoped to that day, and the nearest motel meant going back past the gas station. So we just drove up from the roadside where we were, into the clearing a little way up, where people camped sometimes. We had obviously come the night after a big party. There was broken glass everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
When we arrived, however, it was empty.
Oh.
After a while, I tried to reassure her that we were okay. I calmed her down, but and we started to kiss. I moved to get closer to her. She suddenly screamed like hell itself. It's her! It's her! She was fumbling to start up the engine.
That must suck.
I turned in time to witness a small black face, grinning, literally ear to ear, with only darkness inside. It was crawling into the car through my open window,
That's not
with its
horrifying at
limbs
all.
splayed out like an insect.
Grab it, throw it,
Many
and
limbs.
get out of there.
Way
Throw
too many
what?
long arms.
The creature that just
The fingers feeling my face
crawled
like
into their
antenna.
car.
Oh.
We sped off, back down onto the road.
Mm-hmm.
Back on the road, nothing seemed right. There were no stars.
Oh.
That was what I noticed first. I was too shaken to think much of it, but there were no clouds that could be blotting them out. It was just a vast night sky, devoid of all light. Then, a few minutes after we had been driving forward, still sweating and breathing heavy, we passed the gas station.
Whoa.
My heart skipped a beat. The gas station was at least a half an hour away in the opposite direction.
Ouch.
All the lights were on, and I saw the door sliding open. As we shot past it, Katie was in such hysterics, she found it hard to keep driving. We stopped the car in the middle of the desolate road. I decided we should switch seats so that I could drive. She shoveled across from her seat to mine, and I opened the door to get out. As soon as I was outside, the foul stench of the basement overwhelmed me.
Oh,
I
that's
gagged
not good
and
at all.
vomited down the side of the car.
Wait, I don't get it.
It was then I noticed the runner. A pale white thing, sprinting towards us through the fog. Its limbs practically a blur. I could make out no face. How long had it been following us, running after us in the night? I got into the driver's seat as quickly as possible. We drove off again, not talking. Katie whimpered as I silently prayed. Then we passed the gas station again. The door was open now. There were two figures standing at the door, waiting. As we forced ourselves on, we both became aware of a soft, barely audible weeping in the back seats.
Oh, no,
Neither of us
no,
dared
no.
to turn around. Ignore it, I whispered. My trembling hands gripped the steering wheel.
Okay.
Katie was curled in a fetal position, holding her head in her hands. The wailing increased, becoming extremely loud, ear-piercing and horrific. Finally, I ordered myself to end it and looked behind me. For a split second, I thought it was a girl in a white dress looking back up at me. But she was gone as soon as she had appeared.
Well, that's
I
good.
checked the seats carefully. There was nothing. In my tiredness and fear, I'd completely lost track of the road. I drove on, and all through the night, Katie whimpered. I touched her once, but she screamed. I never tried that again. The noises from the back seat started up again. We passed the gas station twice more. The people at the door were getting closer and clearer every time. The finest slither of red light had begun to settle on the horizon. It was still dark as hell, but at least I was able to see the road ahead of me now. Katie had been silent, face concealed under her hands for some time. I decided to check the time, so I turned on the radio. At first, there was only static. Instead of time or anything at all, the digital clock simply appeared black. I fiddled with the dial, trying to change the station. In between the static, I found only one audible channel. It had a high-pitched buzz in the background. A man was muttering names under his breath. 29, Lucy. 30, Adam. 31, Katie. I switched back to the static. I knew which name was next. When we got to Katie's friend's house, it was morning. It was overcast, and everywhere had the smell of rain on it. Her friends went home. Katie's friends lived way out in the country, with no one else around in a mile. The grass was climbing the Wall's house. How long have they been out? As soon as we were inside, Katie started whimpering again. I realized that while she had been silent, she was biting on her lip. Blood was trickling down her chin, and the skin around her mouth was torn and chewed through.
Ouch.
She grabbed the newspaper and some masking tape off the table and began blocking out the windows. After
That's
the
weird.
night's events, I didn't know whether I would be insane to join her or stop her.
I'd join her
I
if I were
simply
you.
watched. She covered the windows, jammed the door, and turned the lights off. For some time, it could have been minutes or hours. We sat, silent in the dark. I offered to turn it on. Katie said nothing, sitting blank and comatose. I turned the television on anyway.
And she screams?
A grainy, black and white image flicked to life before us. A white face with empty eyes and an impossibly huge smile flashed up. The smile growing wider and wider the longer we stared into it. There came the sound of weeping.
Why don't they change it though?
Or in the house.
Because
I couldn't tell. We turned the TV off.
Okay.
It's been 3 whole days now. I haven't seen Katie at all today. She spends her time in the closet, crying. I once tore the door open and screamed at her. She screamed back, her face contorting into something grotesque and inhuman. I slammed it in her face. The phone rings often. A voice, my mother's, I believe, whispering under its breath. I can only catch snippets of what it says. Come back. You're always welcome to come back. Sometimes in the background, I hear quiet chuckling. I hang up without saying a thing, usually. The bathroom is shining white. I hear the shower running, and will walk in to find nothing. Nothing at all.
What?
Then, when I'm in the bathroom, I will hear the television flick back on.
Well,
It always goes to the face. In the background, there are muttering voices now.
No.
I've called the police twice.
Did they come?
All I get is the whispering woman's voice. I called Katie's friends too, just as fruitlessly. There are knocks at the door a lot now. Through the newspaper, on the other side of the window, I see their hands slam against the glass and slide down.
Why?
They do this for hours on end sometimes. They press their eyes up to the glass, through the holes in the newspaper. At night, we hear them screaming from the guest room. I boarded it up. Sometimes I find tiny pieces of glass on the ground. A leak sprang up about a day ago in my room downstairs.
Wow.
Black spots of mold have appeared on the walls. There is a smell throughout the house, seeping in from my room. The odor of decay. I pray hopelessly, and I swear to God, I wish that I had never gotten out of that car.
Yeah. Wow. That's scary. I'd hate to be like that for the rest of my life.
Me too.
Well, that is it. This is Superman. This is the Never Drive at Night in the Desert Creepypasta reaction. Goodbye.